When BBC journalist Frank Gardner landed at Heathrow Airport on Saturday morning after returning from a trip to Ethiopia, he was left stranded on the plane for 100 minutes after he was told ground staff had lost his wheelchair. Tweeting throughout the incident, he said he was utterly sick of it repeatedly happening when he lands at Heathrow. The CEO of Heathrow Airport, John Holland-Kay, has apologised and is reviewing what happened. But does more need to be done to ensure that this doesn't happen in the future? David Burdus is a director of Burdus Access Management and a wheelchair user and joins us now. Good morning, David.
Very good morning to you.
What do you make of this then?
Well, it is unfortunate. It doesn't surprise me that because passengers, disabled people or passengers with reduced mobility, it is a massive growth market for airports and airlines. I think Heathrow has probably 1.3 million a year, so that's 3,500 a day. So responding to that new growing need, we're learning as we're going along. So at one point, kind of things do happen, but on the other side, really we're working to stopping them because disabled people shouldn't really have a lesser experience than non-disabled travellers.
Is this something that's happened to you then, David?
Not on a plane, but it has on a train. Actually, a few years back, Newcastle, I was left hanging off the back of the platform, and nobody knew I was there, and I was there for over an hour, and it was the cleaner that found me. Thank goodness.
Oh my goodness! I mean, does it put you off travelling? Experiences like that really must have an effect.
I think in general. I mean, I'm not because I'm reasonably confident and articulate, but for a lot of people. There is a fear of flying because of what might happen, particularly for wheelchair users. And the big fear is my chair's going to get broken or damaged, my chair's going to get completely lost. We had a situation a couple of years back with the Tyne Tunnel 2K over here and the Great North Run where a German athlete, Lufthansa, bless them, he arrived, his chair didn't, so he missed both events. But I think Frank's point is you have your mobility removed, you're completely disempowered, and you can't appreciate that unless it happens to you. You really can't. It's terrible.
Trevor was just on there. I don't know whether you heard Trevor's call, and he works for an airline, and he says he accepts, he said there is a problem, there's definitely a problem, but he says I have no idea how we go about solving the problem because there's things like tight turnarounds. You know, if you booked on a connecting flight, getting someone from one terminal to another, for example. So he recognises the problem, but how do you solve it?
Well, the key factor is having the right information about the passenger so that it enables you to understand or anticipate their need and know ahead of time, and then to make sure that the correct help is available. Now, as it happens, I'm working with a Newcastle and London-based company called Grid Smarter Cities, and they have just received Innovate UK, that's government grant aid, to fund a mobile phone app feasibility study at a major international airport to do just this very thing, to make sure that people have information getting to airports so that the help's there at the right time, so they're not corralled or held, unfortunately, either on a plane or in a special needs assistance waiting area. They're actually out getting an improved service and spending their money in the airport. And that's what we want people to do. We don't want them to be unhappy. We want them free to spend their money when they often spend more money in the airport than they do on their flight. And that's the key driver, I feel, for airports in the future.